Hey everybody, this is Ty from MonsterTailChop.com. Today we're going to do a tail chop on a 2012 Ducati Monster 796 and just show you how it's done. Okay guys, the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to take out these little bolts that are holding the two halves of the fender together and just pull them right out. We're going to take off the fender. It's attached by 4 T-nuts. All you're going to do is put your hex in and up underneath from the bottom here, and we're just going to take these out. Don't mess with the valve motor, don't mess with the frame bolts. There's a few other kits online where people want you to take off the actual bolts from the frame. Don't do that. Everything's going to be up from underneath. So take the 4 T-nuts out from here, and then the whole thing will just drop straight down. Once you get these 4 bolts done, you just ease this back, drop it down, just like that. Now the first thing you're gonna do is you're just gonna pop up the signal lights. They've got little retaining clips. Just pop the wiring out, kind of relieve the harnesses, relieve the seat lock label, just kind of pull everything so you can drop this lower tray down. It hooks back here. Just set it down and then reach in and remove the seat lock cable. You can just kind of twist and pop it up just like this. It's quite easy. If it's too tight, you can use a screwdriver or pliers, but you can usually use your fingers. You just pull the red part out of the holding clip, unhook the license plate light, and unhook all your wiring at this point. You can safely unhook all the wiring. Not a big deal, just to let everything fall and hang out where it needs to be. Get this harness down, and then you can actually pull this lower tray out at this point. And just set it over to the side. For 696 owners, this isn't going to be a big deal. Anybody with a 796 and 1100, we've got the EVM. And what it is it's got a little control cable that is holding this lower portion fender in place. So what you're going to do is up underneath on the 796, there's a little black clip. You just take a screwdriver and you'll just pop this little clip out, slide the cable, remove it from the motor, and just make sure you note which of the holes the cable went into so that you can put it back. Just don't mess with the motor. So just pop it out, move the cable out of the way, drop the tray down, and then just put it back when you're done. If you don't want to mess with the cable, there's a couple other ways to get around this. One is to just cut this lower tray. You can use some thick cutters, like some wire cutters or some dikes, and you just come in, you just clip it right here, and that'll allow this cable to go free. If you're trying to take the cable off with this clip and you don't have enough slack, right here, take this little cover off and you can just twist the unit there to give you some more slack to pull this out and then put it back in. A lot of people, they just cut this because they don't want to mess with it, or just take the clip out. Either way, just put it back when you're done. Make sure that you have it back in place before you turn the key on. Otherwise, you will end up having a check engine light come on and you'll have to get that reset or take it to the dealer. All right, and then you just kind of slide it to the right and down, and it'll let that seat lock cable loose. And then the next thing you're going to do is you got to get the tail light out, and you need a little screwdriver. Just slide it right inside, and you just push the little lever down and wiggle it out just like that, and there we go, it's off. We're going to take off the blinkers and the tail light, just pull it apart and save the hardware. We're going to mark the lower fender portion, and we're gonna chop it. All you got to do is just follow this line here, mark it, this line here, mark it, connect the dots in between. You really actually, the way that the bracket is made, you've got about a 1/2 inch leeway you could work with. So just use these as a guide, and then ignore those. So this is the line you're going to cut it on. So you just find a hacksaw, a sturdy surface, and just cut it right off. And this is what the cut tray looks like. We've just cut it along here. Seat lock is still in place. Now we'll go and we'll attach the cable and put it underneath the bike. In your kit, you've got some short spacers. The short spacers are going to go right underneath the 2 T-nuts that are in the front, just the front 2. And then we're going to reattach our seat lock cable. Just twist it forward and hook it back in where you found it, so that this tray will just set up just like that. The wiring harness, actually, it's going to go underneath all of your cabling, and it's just going to stick out the back of the tray. So just set this in and start screwing it back in place. Just make sure these are nice and snug, and you've got your wiring harness sitting out the back. We're actually looking really good. Next thing we're going to do is put your blinkers and your tail light and everything onto the new bracket. We're going to install your plate light and then also your blinkers. Now, if you forget which side, right or left, the blinkers were on, if you look underneath, there's a little drain hole. So that always goes to the bottom. So that'll help you tell you where your blinkers go. You can use the supplied washer for the 1100 models. The other models, 696, 796, you can use the stock retaining clip. Anyways, just thread these in, tighten them down, and then we'll put the spacers in. Go ahead and install the tail light, and the next thing we're going to do is we're going to install the spacers here on the back. Take your M6 screw, pop it in from below, slide the spacer on top. What you've got, you'll have a little rubber retaining O-ring. Go ahead and slide that over top of your M6 bolt and use your stock T-nut. Just set it on top and start threading down. And go ahead and spin it all the way down to the bottom. And what that'll do is that pushes that little O-ring down to the bottom, and it holds your spacer and your bolt in place during assembly so you don't have your parts falling all over. So you pull that back out, and there it is, set and ready to go. Okay, our assembly is all put together. What we're going to do is pull your wires up and just kind of set your new bracket, and just wedge it in there a little bit so that you've got your wiring here ready to go. To wire in the LED plate light, just strip the wires back about a ½ inch. Black goes to black. Black with a white stripe goes to yellow. Twist the bare ends together. Slide your connector over top and crimp. When you're hooking back up the turn signal lights, DX is for the right hand side, SX is for the left hand side. Pop your tail light clip back in, and then take your wiring, and you can actually just kind of bundle it together a little bit. And some of it you can set up inside this tray. On the 696, where it doesn't have the EVM, you can push it all the way back. Here on the bigger models, you can set it just up inside the front of this tray. Don't push it too far back so it doesn't mess with the motor, but it does let you just kind of tidy the wires up, and then just lift the bracket up. Make sure you don't have any wires that are going to get caught in your nuts and bolts. And you can actually catch a thread from above to get it started, because we have our nifty things holding our bolts in place. All right, just like that. And then we just come in and tighten these up. Now when you tighten these up, go ahead and tighten them down really tight. This rubber on top, go ahead and let it compress. Just cinch it down. You don't want it to move or go anywhere. Feel it? It's nice and sturdy. That's it. Put on your license plate, go for a ride. Thanks for watching, and go to monstertailshop.com for all your tail chopping needs. Tame the beast.